program. Tonight we have a special story about two adventurous cats who find themselves lost but use their clever senses to find their way back home. Whiskers and Mittens, the journey home. On a quiet little street in a cozy town, two cats named Whiskers and Mittens lived happily in a blue house with their loving owner, Miss Lilly. Whiskers, a fluffy gray tabby, loved curling up by the fireplace, while Mittens, a small black and white cat, enjoyed chasing shadows on the walls. They spent their days playing with yarn, napping in the sunshine, and listening to Miss Lilly read bedtime stories. One breezy afternoon, Miss Lilly left the back door open while she brought groceries in. Curious as ever, Whiskers and Mittens decided to step outside. Mittens wiggled her tail. "Let's go explore." Whiskers agreed and said, "Only for a little while," he warned. "We can't go too far." The two cats ran down the garden path, chasing a fluttering red leaf. The leaf carried it past the fence, through the tall golden grass, and into the woods. Mittens pounced, giggling, while Whiskers sniffed a trail of tiny paw prints in the dirt. A butterfly flew by, and Mittens couldn't resist following it. She leaped and twirled, laughing as it danced through the air. "Come back, Mittens," Whiskers called. But Mittens was too busy playing. She ran deeper into the woods, Whiskers chasing after her the whole time. By the time they stopped, the sun was setting, and the sky had turned soft shades of pink and orange. It was getting very late. The warm afternoon faded, and the air grew chilly. Whiskers looked around. The trees were tall, the houses were nowhere in sight, and suddenly everything felt too quiet. "Mittens," Whiskers said, his tails flicking nervously, "I think we've gone too far." Mittens' ears drooped. "Oh no! How do we get back home?" Whiskers took a deep breath and thought, "We need to use our senses. Miss Lilly always says we have great noses and sharp ears." The two cats listened carefully. At first all they heard was the rustling of the wind in the trees. Then soft and sweet, the sound of a wind chime echoed through the air. "Miss Lily's wind chime," Mittens meowed. "That will lead us back home." Hopping over fallen logs, they followed the sound, weaving through the trees and hopping over the fallen logs. But suddenly, rustle, rustle! A pair of glowing eyes peered at them from behind a bush. Mittens froze. "Whiskers, what was that?" A soft hoot came from the tree above. "It's just Mr. Owl," Whiskers chuckled. "Be careful, little ones," hooted Mr. Owl. "The woods can be tricky at night and not safe at all." Whiskers nodded. "We're heading home now. Thank you, Mr. Owl." They continued on their way, following the wind chime's melody. Soon they reached a street with glowing lamplights. It looked so familiar. Mittens sniffed the air and let out a happy meow. "I smell Miss Lily's apple pie." The smell of warm apples and cinnamon led them further down the path until at last they saw their cozy blue house. The porch light was on, and Miss Lilly stood outside calling their names. "Whiskers! Mittens! Oh, I was so worried about you," she cried, scooping them up in her arms and giving them a big, big hug. She carried them inside where the fireplace crackled and a warm blanket was waiting for them. As they curled up in their favorite spot, Miss Lilly stroked their fur. Home is the best place to be, isn't it? Whiskers let out a happy sigh. Yes, he purred. Mittens yawned. Oh, her eyes heavy with sleep. And from that day on, whenever they heard the wind chime, they knew it would always guide them home. The end. And that's the story of Whiskers and Mittens, two little cats who learn that sometimes the best adventures happen right at home. Good night, little dreamers. Sleep tight. Thank you for watching. This is Graham. Until I see you again, good night.